Hey Disney friends, it's Amber with Mickey Travels. It's been a really long time and I'm so sorry. Crazy life stuff, and I'm sure all of us understand that. But with my full-time job as being a teacher slash coach and then working with so many clients, it's just been crazy. But I have been filling out my notebook here full of ideas for videos for you. So I'm hoping to get a lot of them done and then just publish them one after the other. So here's hoping. I do have an upcoming trip coming up. I will be in Disney World in late November, early December. So if any of you are going to be at Disney at that time, let me know and maybe we can arrange a meetup and visit for a little bit. Okay, so today I want to focus on deciding whether or not you want to stay on Disney property or off Disney property. A lot of times it comes down to budget and size of family. I've compiled a list of other things to consider when trying to narrow that down. And obviously, since I work for the Walt Disney Travel Company and with Mickey Travels, it makes sense that I am in full support of staying on property. Growing up, we always stayed off property, and I understood that. And then once we started doing more research and started staying on, now my husband and I, and then also my immediate family, we always stay on property now. It's just what we do. And it's because of the convenience factor. So stay tuned. Let's get talking about the pros and cons of both. Okay, so okay, I don't want to do that. All right, I'll leave this here. So my list, I only have a few things that are in the off-property category. So I'll go over those first, and then we'll spend a majority of the time about all that the on-property resort stay has for you. So first, off-property. Cost is going to be a little different, but if you weigh everything out, including transportation to and from the airport, food, parking and maybe, and some other things, it will end up still being a little cheaper, but that's just determining if it's a convenience for you. There are a few good neighbor hotels that Disney does own in the Walt Disney World Resort that do make it more affordable to stay somewhat close and still have the magic of Disney. Disneyland is also the same way. There are 3 properties at Disneyland that you can stay, but then they offer good neighbor hotels at a lesser price. So if you still kind of want that Disney feel, and even the value resorts or the Paradise Pier Hotel at Disneyland is still out of your budget, then take a look at the Good Neighbors. However, the value resorts are affordable and pretty comparable to a lot of the ones in the Good Neighbor portion. 2, a lot of people that go to Disney that contact me always talk about how they are taking huge amounts of people because it's a large family thing. So that would make sense to stay off property. I know, like with timeshares and condos, it is a lot easier for people to get a deal that way and want to stay off property. Makes perfect sense. However, there are options as far as larger families go on Disney property that I will go to in a little bit, but for cost reasons, it may be better for you to stay off property with larger families. Plus, if you plan on like cooking dinners most every night, it may be feasible to find a place with a full kitchen like that, and that would definitely been cheaper than the DVC properties at Disney World. The last thing I have is for the pro for off property is that you have technically more freedom to go do other things. When you're staying on Disney property, it's all Disney all the time. And yeah, you can rent a car and go do what you want, but if you stay off property, you're not in the Disney bubble, if that's your thing. I would be in the Disney bubble every second I could. But if you're also doing some other attractions in the Orlando area, or you're just not gonna have everyone wanting to do Disney all the time, then maybe off-property would be better suited for you. All right, so those are the 3 pros that I have for off-property. That would be cost, larger families, and then the freedom factor. So let me know another pro, if you have one, in the comments below. All right, so my very long list of on-property pros. And the cons, I guess, would just be kind of like the opposites. If you did like a Venn diagram of on and off, they would just be the opposites there. Can you tell I teach? Convenience. It's a great experience to be in the Disney magic all the time if you stay on property. You can stay at resorts that aren't so Disney in your face. The value resorts are going to typically be that because they are super kid friendly. But many of the moderates and the deluxes don't offer that Disney everywhere vibe. So if you want to be somewhere super close, take advantage of the transportation and whatnot, but don't want the Disney in your face, then consider looking at those kinds of locations. But That's the number one thing for me. You're close to everything, they can get you anywhere you need to be, and you're right in the Disney magic, which makes it a vacation in itself. Disney offers opportunities for people with all sorts of budgets. There are 3 categories when it comes to tiers. When it comes to budgets, you have your value resorts, which include the All-Star Movies, Music, and Sports, the Pop Century Resort, which is recently refurbed, and the Art of Animation Resort, which features family suites for people with over 4 in their room, and they can sleep up to 6. Unless you have an infant that's under 3, then you can have 7 in there. And then they also have standard rooms there. They're all Little Mermaid themed though. That is one thing people may or may not know. They only have one type of standard room at the Art of Animation. In your moderate resorts, you have Caribbean Beach, which is currently, as of filming this video, going under a very huge refurb, so something to consider when looking at that one. Coronado Springs is also going under a room refurb, so it's not as big construction-wise. And then the Port Orleans Riverside, Port Orleans French Quarter, and then the cabins at Fort Wilderness are all considered moderate. And those standard rooms at Caribbean and Port Orleans Riverside can sleep 5. And the main difference there is values have doubles and moderates have queens. And there's tons of other differences, and I've got a couple of videos to explain those, so we're not sitting here talking about that for hours. And then your deluxe resorts, which are your high quality, top class kind of resorts. They're gonna be super close to the Disney parks and are more on a 4 to 5 star scale when it comes to amenities. When you stay at any of those Disney resorts, you get free transportation to and from the parks with different methods depending on what type of resort it is. So it could be a bus, ferry, monorail. You can drive, and you do get free parking at the resorts if you do stay on property. So if you'd rather not wait for buses and whatnot, you can drive yourself and have free parking for that. You can also take Ubers. They are very quick and easy to get to, like dining reservations and whatnot. Tons of people use Uber all the time now. Or Lyft, whatever your preference is. If you stay on Disney property, they will pick you up from the Orlando International Airport for free. You get to ride the Disney's Magical Express, and all you have to do is sign up for that. I do have a video upcoming for Magical Express 101, and they can take you back to the airport. And some of the Disney resorts, well, all of them, all the Disney resorts have particular airlines that do airline check-in there for you. So we always fly Southwest Airlines, and the day we depart, they actually give us our plane tickets the night before with the Magical Express info. They've already checked us in and everything. So we can even give them our bags ahead of time. It's great. So take a look into the airport or the airlines that Disney has the resort check-in for to save some extra time getting to and from the airport. All of the airlines go with the Magical Express. Just some of them have the resort airline check-in. I hope that wasn't confusing. Another perk, and probably the biggest one that I sell to most people, and why most people tell me that they actually book with Disney, is because Disney does not require you to pay up front in full. You actually don't have to pay until you pay a deposit of $200 just to book any kind of package. So if you're doing room and tickets only, room tickets and dining, room tickets, memory maker, etc., it's all going to be the same price. It's going to be $200 per room you book with full payment due 30 days before arrival. If you're doing a room only, you only have to pay the 1 night stay, and then the rest can be paid in full when you check in. So very convenient for people who are taking, you know, a large amount of money on a Disney trip and can't pay for it all up front, which is different if you did something maybe say through Expedia or whatnot. You do have to pay all up front there, and you're gonna miss out on some of the Disney special things. So really great for families. And then of course that's the same if you book with the travel agent too. It'll be the $200 down, you pay Disney directly, you just go through them, and then you don't have to pay till 30 days until you leave. So you can make monthly payments, you could make weekly payments, you could just wait until tax return and put it all in. It doesn't matter, just as long as it's paid off. Disney staying on property allows you to take advantage of the dining plan, which was one of my favorite things. And I've got tons of videos on those. So if you are up in the air about the dining plan and whether or not it saves you money, don't think just about that. You've got to take into consideration the convenience and all the pluses to having it paid off before you get there kind of thing. So And it also helps when you tie in with your dining reservations to know ahead of time, okay, well, we already have everything good to go because we're on the plan. We know exactly what we're going to be eating, etc. And not just kind of going there and winging it. So with the dining plans, again, tons of videos on those, but you also have the resort mugs that you can refill at your quick service at your resort all the time throughout your entire stay. Even if you go to a different resort for some reason, like for instance, when we go over the holidays, we're gonna go look at some of the other Christmas decorations. We'll probably take our mugs because we can refill the mugs at other hotels at their quick service places. You just can't refill them in the parks. Extra magic hours, getting in the park early and staying 2 hours later on certain days. Awesome. The only downside to extra magic hours is the parks tend to be more crowded those days, so you do have to plan strategically, but it's an awesome perk, especially those evening Magic Kingdom hours, because you're staying on property, getting in some extra time inside the parks. One of my favorite things ever with the Magic Bands, you can charge to your room when staying on Disney property. So if I was going to buy tons of souvenirs, because I need more, obviously, I can just scan my band and charge it to my room, and they can also deliver it to my room, so I can pick that up at my gift shop at the end of the day, or they'll tell us what day it's going to get there, and not have to carry it around with me. And the cool thing about charging to the resort is it instantly doesn't charge your card. It will total everything up to your hotel bill, and if maybe I have like Disney gift cards, I can go in like every other day and take a little bit off my total that I've charged to my room with those gift cards. If I wait till the very end, they just charge the card they have on file. So this way I like to be able to like see every night what I've charged and kind of keep track that way. So it's super great. So you don't have to stand there in line and or carry around all your credit cards and cash at Disney parks, because you can just put it on the Magic Band. Kids will not be able to do that unless they have the PIN number to the Magic Band, so do not fear if your child you think is going to just buy a bunch of stuff and then scan their bands. They actually have to have a 4-digit PIN to use that. I feel like I'm rushing through these for a couple of reasons. I don't like the videos being super long. I want your attention span. And I don't have a ton of memory on this camera, so I'm trying to go fast. I've only got a couple more. All right, next. It's super easy to go back to your resort and take a nap if you're staying on property, because you just have the transportation that you took to get there and can plop right into bed and not have to worry about going all the way back to your car, find the car, go to the parking lot, drive all the way back, take a nap, and that's taken a lot of time. So super easy to take those naps, which I totally recommend in the afternoons after the parades, for your little ones or your adult ones. And the last thing, and probably the summary of all of this, is Disney offers so many all-inclusive packages that it just makes complete sense to want to have everything put together for convenience purposes and just to be a part of everything. Having the dining plan, having your room, having the tickets, having the picture thing, having insurance, you can add flights, having everything into one lump sum and then paying it off as you go just makes it a breeze for planning that vacation. And although it may save you a few $100s to stay off property, you just have to consider all the factors of doing that and some of the things you'll be missing out on. If you have younger kids, it just may make more sense to stay on property anyway. So lots of things to consider. I hope my list narrowed down some things for you. And of course, if you ever have any questions, let me know. But again, I'm a huge, what's a good word? I'm a huge fan of staying on property, and we'll always do it. And plus there's so many to choose from. It's fun to kind of like pick a different one each time and try something different. All right, if you are interested in using my planning services and do need some help planning that Disney vacation, my contact info is below, and I will hopefully talk to you guys really soon. Have a magical day and happy holidays.